Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered if you're still beautiful? Not the kind of beauty that fades with time, but the kind that grows richer, deeper, and more captivating with every passing year. Society tells us that youth equals beauty, but that's a lie. True beauty, the kind that turns heads and captures hearts, has nothing to do with age, wrinkles, or dress sizes. In today's video, we'll reveal 4 undeniable signs that prove you are a truly stunning older woman, even if you don't think so. And trust me, these signs go far beyond the surface. Stay with me until the end, because once you recognize these qualities in yourself, you'll never question your beauty again. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you like this video. You can help me continue to spread the old age lesson. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like this video, please comment number 1. If you don't like it, comment number 0 to let me know, so I can make a better video for you. Now let's get started. The world around us has conditioned us to believe that beauty is a pursuit, something to be captured and held onto as tightly as possible. We've been told that youth is the pinnacle of beauty, that wrinkles are to be feared, and that the natural process of aging is something to resist with all our might. But this is a limited view of beauty, one that doesn't take into account the fullness of life that aging brings. Aging is not something to be mourned, it is something to be celebrated. So, how do you know if you are a beautiful older woman, even if you don't think you are? The truth is, beauty has little to do with your outward appearance. It is not found in smooth skin, youthful features, or dress sizes. Instead, it has everything to do with the way you carry yourself, the confidence with which you walk through the world, and the wisdom you carry in your eyes and heart. Some signs show whether you are aging gracefully, and let me tell you, these signs are far deeper and more meaningful than any superficial measure. First, there is something undeniably captivating about the way a woman who has truly lived moves through the world. It's not a hurried, frantic pace. It's not a desperate race to keep up with the demands of a society that idolizes youth. Instead, it's a pace that speaks of grace and wisdom, one that cannot be faked or imitated. It is the kind of grace that comes with time, the kind that is honed by years of experience. When she walks, she does not rush, for she knows there is no need to. Life is not a race. It is a journey to be savored, not a competition to be won. She has long since realized that the frantic scramble to reclaim lost youth is a futile effort. She no longer seeks to turn back time, nor does she strive to prove anything to anyone. She moves with a sense of purpose, but it is a calm, deliberate purpose, not driven by fear or insecurity. Her steps are measured, yet confident. She walks as if she belongs in the world, not because she demands it, but because she simply knows she does. This quiet confidence is not something that can be acquired overnight. It is not something that comes from external validation or approval from others. No, it comes from within. It comes from a deep, unshakable sense of self-worth that is cultivated through years of living, learning, and growing. It is the kind of confidence that says, "I have been here before, and I am still here." It is the confidence that comes from having weathered the storms of life and emerged stronger, wiser, and more beautiful than before. And this confidence is not just seen in the way she walks. It is seen in the way she holds herself. She stands tall, with her shoulders back and her head held high, not rigidly or stiffly, but with the ease of someone who has learned to accept herself fully. She doesn't shrink to make others feel comfortable. She doesn't diminish her light to fit the expectations of others. Instead, she stands as she is, fully present in the world, fully aware of her worth. There's something magnetic about this presence. People are drawn to her without fully understanding why. They may call it an aura or energy, but what they are responding to is her comfort in her skin. She is not at war with herself. She does not fidget nervously, nor does she constantly adjust her clothing or hair to seek reassurance. She is simply comfortable in her skin, and this comfort radiates outward, making those around her feel at ease as well. There was a time, perhaps many years ago, when she wondered if she was beautiful enough. A time when she scrutinized every flaw, every wrinkle, every imperfection, comparing herself to the impossible standards that society set for beauty. But as the years passed, she learned a valuable truth. Beauty is not about perfection. It's about presence. It's about the confidence that comes with knowing who you are and accepting yourself fully, flaws and all. A woman who has truly lived carries with her the beauty of experience. She carries the beauty of someone who has faced the storms of life, weathered heartache and loss, yet still finds joy in the simplest things. She carries the beauty of someone who has laughed deeply, cried freely, and loved fiercely. It is a beauty that comes from living fully, from embracing every aspect of life, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and still emerging with grace and dignity. The most fascinating part of all is that this woman does not try to be beautiful. She no longer chases after beauty like a wild goose chase. She doesn't stand in front of the mirror, searching for flaws or anxiously waiting for validation from others. She has outgrown the need for constant affirmation. She knows her worth does not depend on how others see her, and this freedom from seeking approval makes her even more captivating. Watch her in conversation. She listens intently, without interrupting, without filling the silence with nervous chatter. She listens because she values what others have to say. And when she speaks, her words carry weight, not because they are rehearsed or calculated, but because they come from a place of deep knowing. She does not need to impress anyone, nor does she seek to dominate the conversation. Her presence is felt without force. She speaks because she has something to say, and that alone is enough. And then there is her smile. It is not the forced, polite smile of someone trying to please or fit in. It is not the hesitant smile of someone unsure of her place in the world. No, her smile is genuine, spontaneous, and real. It comes from a place of deep contentment, from a heart that has experienced joy and pain in equal measure and has found peace with both. Her smile is not a performance. It is an expression of something true, something real. This is the beauty that comes with age. Not the kind that fades with time, but the kind that grows. Not the kind that is defined by the world's standards, but the kind that radiates from within. It is the beauty of a woman who has lived and learned, who has experienced both triumph and loss, who has found joy in the simplest things and peace in the most unexpected places. And if you recognize yourself in any of these words, then perhaps it is time to stop questioning whether you are beautiful. You are, always have been, and always will be. And with each passing year, you only become more so. She does not hurry. She does not rush into a room with the need to announce her presence, nor does she feel compelled to occupy every space with movement, chatter, or a performance designed to capture attention. She has no desire to make a grand entrance, no inclination to outshine anyone. It is not because she lacks confidence, but because she no longer measures her worth by the spotlight. She understands, in a way that only experience can teach, that true presence is not about being the loudest, the most noticed, or the most admired. It is about being fully, completely, and unapologetically herself. She has nothing to prove. Once upon a time, she may have felt the need to justify her existence, to demonstrate her worth, to make sure she was seen and acknowledged in ways that reassured her of her place in the world. She may have spent years trying to be more, do more, achieve more, only to realize that her value was never meant to be determined by external forces. She does not compete because she understands that there is no real competition. No one else can be her, and she has no interest in being anyone else. Her beauty is not something that diminishes in comparison to another's. It is not a fragile thing, easily threatened by the presence of someone younger, thinner, taller, or different. She does not view other women as rivals and does not see their radiance as something that takes away from her own. She knows that beauty is not a limited resource. It is not something that must be fought for, something that fades when shared. Her beauty is hers alone, formed not just by the features of her face or the shape of her body, but by the depth of her soul, the wisdom in her eyes, the kindness in her actions, and the way she carries herself with unshakable ease. She has spent enough time doubting, questioning, and adjusting herself to fit into spaces that were never truly meant for her. She has tried being what others expected and has twisted and reshaped herself in the past to belong, to be accepted, and to avoid disapproval. But that time has passed. She has learned, through experience, that self-worth cannot be built on the opinions of others. Approval is fleeting. Praise is inconsistent. And so, she has stopped looking outward for validation. Instead, she turns inward, listening to the voice within her, the one she had once ignored, the one that always knew the truth. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. She does not seek permission to exist. She does not wait for an invitation to take up space. She no longer apologizes for her presence, for her opinions, for the way she moves through the world with certainty. She has walked through enough storms to know that she is strong. She has endured enough setbacks to know that she is resilient. She has faced enough disappointments to understand that she will always rise again. She no longer allows insecurity to dictate her choices. She no longer shrinks herself to make others comfortable. She has spent too many years making herself small, and she refuses to do so any longer. When she speaks, people listen, not because she demands attention, but because she speaks with intention. She does not fill silences with meaningless words, does not ramble to prove her intelligence, and does not explain herself more than necessary. She is deliberate, thoughtful, and measured. She knows the value of silence, the power of restraint. And when she chooses not to speak at all, when she allows the quiet to linger, it is often more impactful than anything she could say. She has outgrown the need for constant reassurance. She no longer requires validation to feel secure in who she is. She does not crumble when someone disapproves of her choices, nor does she swell with pride when she is praised. She takes neither personally. She understands that opinions are just that, opinions. They are reflections of others, not of her. She no longer hands over her self-worth to be shaped by the fleeting thoughts of people who do not truly know her. She no longer compares herself to the version of herself she once was. She does not look at old photographs and wishes to go back. She does not mourn the passing of time and does not feel threatened by the changes in her reflection. She knows now that aging is not something to fear, but something to embrace. She has lived enough to understand that youth was never the peak, and that beauty is not something that disappears but something that transforms. She does not chase an outdated ideal of who she once was because she is too in love with the woman she has become. She carries herself with a presence that commands respect, though she does not seek it. She does not strive to be the center of attention, yet people notice her. There is something about her that draws others in, not a desperate need to be liked, but an effortless authenticity that is rare in a world full of masks. She has nothing to hide, no pretense to maintain, no false image to uphold. She simply is. And that is enough. She does not waste energy explaining herself to those who have already made up their minds about her. She does not fight to be understood by those unwilling to see her. She does not spend time convincing those who are determined to misunderstand her. She has learned that peace is more valuable than being right, and that walking away is sometimes the strongest thing she can do. She no longer dresses to impress, nail her words to fit the expectations of others, and adjusts her personality to make others more comfortable. She wears what feels good, speaks in a way that feels true, and lives as her most authentic self. She has freed herself from the exhausting performance of trying to be what others want her to be. And because of that, people are drawn to her. Not because she is trying to be noticed, but because there is something magnetic about a woman who is entirely herself. She understands that not everyone will like her. She is at peace with that. She knows that she will not be everyone's cup of tea, and that is perfectly fine. She does not waste energy bending herself to fit into spaces too small for her, and does not shrink herself to accommodate those who cannot handle her fullness. She has spent years learning who she is, and now she simply lives as that person, without apology, without hesitation, without fear. She carries an unmistakable light. It is not the light of youth, not the glow of temporary excitement, but something far deeper, something earned. It is a light that comes from experience, from laughter that has echoed through her bones, from tears that have cleansed her soul, from nights spent questioning and mornings spent understanding. It is a light that does not flicker with doubt, that does not wane with age, but instead grows warmer, richer, and more inviting. When she looks at others, she sees beyond their surface. She sees the hesitations, the insecurities, the quiet fears they carry but do not speak of. She recognizes their struggles because she has faced her own. She understands what it means to feel lost, to search for meaning, to long for belonging. And because she understands, there is something in her presence that makes people feel safe. She does not need to say much, does not need to offer grand gestures of reassurance. Her very existence, her quiet certainty, her unwavering sense of self, is enough to make those around her feel seen, feel accepted, feel understood. She has lived long enough to know that the greatest power is not in seeking to be noticed, but in simply being. And so, she moves through the world, not looking for approval, not chasing recognition, not trying to prove anything. She simply exists as she is. And that, in itself, is enough. The light in her eyes does not come from a life of ease, nor does it stem from a path free of mistakes, disappointments, or struggles. If anything, it has been shaped by the very opposite. It has been forged in the fires of hardship, tempered by seasons of uncertainty, and illuminated by moments of both sorrow and joy. She has faced the kind of heartbreak that leaves a person gasping for air, has stood at the edge of doubt with trembling hands, and has learned, through experience not theory, that courage is not the absence of fear but the decision to keep moving forward despite it. She has known the sting of betrayal and the ache of goodbyes that came too soon. She has watched dreams slip through her fingers like sand, has mourned the loss of what could have been, and has wrestled with questions that had no clear answers. And yet, through it all, she has never allowed the weight of her struggles to extinguish her spirit. If anything, those hardships have carved out space within her for something deeper, something richer, a resilience that is not loud or forceful but steady and unwavering. She has chosen time and time again to keep her inner fire burning, to seek out beauty even amid pain, to find meaning in moments both grand and ordinary. There is a profound difference between a woman who has simply aged and a woman who has truly lived. The former collects years, the latter collects wisdom. The former marks time, the latter embraces it. The former watches life happen, the latter participates in it fully, wholeheartedly, without holding back. And that difference is visible, not in obvious ways, but in the quiet strength she carries, in the way she moves through the world with a presence that cannot be ignored. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. Her wisdom is not something she needs to announce or prove. It is simply there, woven into the fabric of her being. It is present in the way she listens, with eyes that do not merely look but truly see. It is in the way she speaks, carefully choosing words that uplift rather than diminish. It is in the way she carries herself, not with arrogance but with an unshakable confidence that comes from knowing who she is. She no longer feels the need to explain herself, and no longer wastes time trying to make others understand her journey. She has made peace with the fact that not everyone will, and that is perfectly fine. She has laughed in the face of adversity, not because life has been kind, but because she has learned that laughter is a form of survival. She has found joy in the simplest things, not because she has had an easy life, but because she has learned to recognize happiness in the smallest of moments. The scent of rain on warm pavement, the way the ocean hums against the shore, the sound of a loved one's voice on the other end of the phone. She understands now that happiness is not something to be chased or captured, not something waiting on the other side of success or perfection. It is something to be noticed, something to be cultivated, something to be held in the present moment before it slips away. When she enters a room, people feel a shift. They may not be able to articulate it, but they sense it, that warmth, that presence, that quiet energy that draws them in. It is not about conventional beauty. It has nothing to do with youthful flawless skin or anything that can be captured in a photograph. It is about something deeper. It is about the soul. It is about a life fully embraced, fully lived, fully felt. Some fear aging, fight against time as if it were an enemy to be conquered, and believe that beauty is something fragile, something that must be preserved at all costs. They chase youth with desperation, trying to hold on to something that was never meant to last. And then there are those like her, women who understand that real beauty is not something that fades with time but something that deepens. It is not found in smooth skin or symmetrical features but in the way a person carry their experiences, in the way they love without reservation, in the way they give without expecting, in the way they still look at the world with wonder, even after everything they have seen. Her eyes still hold that wonder, not because she is naive, but because she has chosen to. She has seen enough of life to become cynical, yet she has deliberately refused to let bitterness take root. She has witnessed the cruelty of the world, yet she still believes in the goodness of people. She has been hurt, yet she still loves. She has been disappointed, yet she still hopes. And that choice, to believe in beauty, in kindness, in possibility, is what sets her apart. She still finds magic in the ordinary, the golden light of the late afternoon sun, the way the wind dances through the trees, the quiet comfort of a familiar song playing in the background. She still marvels at the sky, at the endless stretch of stars above her, at the miracle of being alive. She has discovered, after all these years, that joy is not something external, not something granted by the world, but something that lives within. And because she has learned to nurture it, to protect it, she radiates a sense of peace that is rare in this world. When she looks at you, you feel it, that light, that warmth, that quiet assurance that everything will be okay. Not because she has all the answers, but because she has walked through fire and emerged not unscathed, but strong. She does not need to convince you of anything. She does not need to prove herself. She simply exists as she is, and somehow, that is enough. There comes a time in a woman's life when she no longer waits for the world to tell her she is beautiful. She no longer seeks approval in a mirror, searches for validation in the eyes of others, and no longer measures herself against the impossible standards she once thought she had to reach. She has spent years adjusting, shrinking, and trying to fit into the narrow mold that society has carved out for beauty. She has dieted, contorted, compared, and criticized, always chasing an ideal that was never truly hers, to begin with. And then, one day, she stops. Not out of rebellion. Not out of defiance. But out of something far more powerful: realization. She realizes that beauty was never something she needed permission to have. It was never something to be earned, never something reserved only for the young, only for the unblemished, only for those who fit a certain mold. It was hers all along, even in the moments as she doubted it, even when she was too busy critiquing herself to see it, even when she let others define it for her. But now she knows, and that knowing changes everything. She no longer feels the need to apologize for the lines that have settled on her face, for the gentle softness that time has woven into her body, for the unmistakable signs of a life deeply and fully lived. She no longer tries to erase the years from her skin or silence the echoes of her past, because she has come to understand that they are not burdens to carry or flaws to correct. They are a testament, a living record of moments that have shaped her, that have strengthened her, that have made her into the person she is today. Each line tells a story, and each crease holds a memory, a reminder of the laughter that shook her shoulders, the tears that traced down her cheeks, and the countless sunrises and sunsets she has witnessed. They are proof that she has felt deeply, that she has embraced joy and sorrow alike, that she has lived a life worth remembering. And truly, what could be more beautiful than that? She no longer dresses for the approval of the world, nor does she paint her face to fit an outdated notion of beauty. She does not feel the pressure to shrink herself, to present herself in a way that makes others comfortable, or to chase an ideal that was never meant for her to begin with. Instead, she embraces her rhythm, her preferences, and her standards. She chooses what makes her feel good, what makes her feel like herself. Some days, that might mean stepping into bold, vibrant colors that reflect her inner fire, letting her silver-streaked curls dance freely in the breeze, or wearing a statement piece that demands attention. On other days, it might mean opting for simplicity, for the ease of bare skin, a soft cotton dress, and the quiet confidence that speaks louder than any adornment ever could. But the difference now is this: every choice is hers alone. Not made to fit an expectation, not made to gain approval, not made to secure validation. She has stepped beyond the need to be admired, beyond the need to conform. She has reclaimed herself, fully and completely. She no longer waits for compliments to feel beautiful, to feel worthy, to feel enough. When someone tells her she is radiant, she accepts it with a warm smile, not because she needs to hear it, but because she has already embraced it within herself. The words are merely an affirmation of something she already knows. And if no one says it, that is perfectly fine too. She does not rely on external validation to define what she has already claimed as her own. She no longer shrinks to make others comfortable, and no longer dims her light so that others might feel brighter by comparison. She does not hide her confidence, does not downplay her presence, and does not pretend to be less than she is. She understands now that true beauty is not a game of competition, not a matter of outshining another. It is not about being better, younger, slimmer, or more desirable in the eyes of the world. It is about authenticity. It is about standing firm in her truth, about honoring the journey she has taken to become the woman she is today. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 3 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. She no longer fears aging, because she sees what so many fail to recognize, that with each passing year, she has grown richer in wisdom, deeper in understanding, and more fascinating in the ways that truly matter. With time, she has not lost anything of value. Instead, she has gained layers of depth, layers of resilience, and layers of self-assurance that cannot be manufactured or faked. She sees now that beauty is not something that fades with time, but something that evolves, something that is refined, something that becomes more powerful with each experience. It is not in the absence of wrinkles, but in the presence of grace. It is not in the pursuit of perfection, but in the embrace of imperfection. It is in the way she carries herself, head high, eyes alight with wisdom, laughter spilling freely from her lips. It is in the way she speaks with certainty, no longer hesitant, no longer seeking approval. It is in the way she meets her reflection, not with scrutiny, but with kindness, with gratitude, with love. She no longer waits for permission to shine. She no longer searches for signs that she is still desirable, still relevant, still enough. Because she knows now that she always was. The world may not always recognize it. Society may not always celebrate it. But none of that matters. She has learned that she does not need permission to exist beautifully. She does not need permission to be worthy. She does not need permission to be enough. She has stopped asking the world for what she has already given herself. And in that moment, in that unwavering certainty, she becomes more radiant than ever before. She embraces each new day with an openness she never had in her youth. She has learned to savor the small moments, to breathe in the beauty of the world around her. She finds joy in the first sip of morning coffee, in the warmth of the sun on her skin, and in the laughter of friends who have stood beside her through the decades. She has shed the weight of insecurities that once held her back, understanding now that her worth was never tied to youth, never tied to appearance, never tied to anyone's expectations but her own. She walks with a confidence that is not forced but earned. She has learned to take up space unapologetically, to speak her mind without hesitation, and to set boundaries with love and firmness. She has let go of the need to please, the need to be liked, and the need to be understood by everyone. She has embraced the beautiful truth that not everyone will see her light, and that is perfectly fine. She does not need universal approval to feel whole. She has become her source of love, her source of acceptance, her source of peace. She no longer fears change, because she has learned that change is simply another word for growth. She has reinvented herself time and time again, learning that transformation is not just for the young but for anyone who chooses to evolve. She knows now that life does not end with age. It expands, it deepens, it becomes more profound. She welcomes new experiences with curiosity, knowing that every moment holds the possibility of wonder. She no longer clings to the past, nor does she dread the future. She lives fully, completely, without hesitation. She is not just growing older, she is growing wiser, stronger, and more radiant with every passing year. And that, in itself, is the most beautiful thing of all. And there you have it. True beauty isn't about age, perfection, or meeting society's standards. It's about confidence, presence, and the way you carry the wisdom and experiences life has given you. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What have you learned from this video? What is one thing you will bring into your life starting today? Comment below and share your thoughts. If you like this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more inspiring content. See you in the next video.